Hey guys, and welcome back to What's the Formula, a new weekly show. I will be showing how I convert either elites or elites into ultimates, sometimes with aggression figures into ultimates. This one I kind of got the idea for. If you follow the Instagram channel or if you follow people who do customizations on Facebook, sorry about the list, but I have my retainer in. And sorry, I'm just making sure he's lined up properly. So this one's not cheap. To convert this one into a ultimate, not cheap. Also, not the easiest to do. You have to make sure to really take your time. Make sure that water's really hot. Heat those legs up really well. Because if you're not careful, you could snap the ball joint. Now, luckily, this big man's on ball joints. And I use a lot of his figure, again, he's not cheap, to build these guys. Who am I talking about? Well, I'm going to start with King Kong Bundy. Ultimate King Kong Bundy. Now, you can't see it because the singlet is from his MATTEL figure, but underneath is Andre the Giant's torso. And I took the legs off very carefully. I put the King Kong Bundy legs on there, so I still have the elite torso of King Kong Bundy just sitting there. Maybe I'll sell it or something like that, or I'll send it to, I think it's Judd Figs. Judd, who does great work with elite customs of like old school guys, including like pledging for different people, which I pledged for Kendall Windham and a couple other ones. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, I told him, I was like, man, if you need torsos for me, let me know. I got tons of elite torsos lying around. Tons of basic looking bodies. I digress. So originally I was going to keep just a single strap on because obviously he has a single, singlet one strap, but he doesn't wrestle in a one strap. Only two. I thought he did wrestle in one. From the photo I saw, it looked like one, but it was just a bad angle. So by putting the singlet on, he's a little bit more bulkier. I mean, I'm just trying to get a whole figure there. Obviously, the Mattel head, you could probably use the Jack's head. It might be a little bit bigger, which in this case wouldn't hurt this figure, I don't think, at all. In fact, I think the Mattel version is kind of tiny on him for a King Kong Bundy. So you could get the Jack's head better. Of course, there's also people who do great custom work on building him. I saw one guy doing it. He actually showed me the formula to see if the legs would work. He was doing a sanding method where he's taking the whole thing off and he's going to get a whole custom built head. So I kind of beat him to the punch real fast. But again, I took apart a very expensive figure. If you're aware of the King Kong Bundy figure, he's up there. Even loose out of package can cost you up to $250, especially with the T-shirt, which I think I sold the shirt for like $40 separately one time. I kept bugging Mattel about, hey, you got Hogan, we got Piper, we got Mr. T, maybe we get an Orndorff. What about a Best of WrestleMania or a WrestleMania main event line? Where you got, clearly we already have one except for Paul Orndorff. Unless you have an ultimate like I do, which I will show you the formula of that in the future. Or if you see my reviews on the 25 days of reviews for Christmas special I did. But King Kong Bundy, main event of WrestleMania 2. You already got Andre. What about Macho Man? Well, obviously he's no longer under contract with them. So that's unfortunate, but $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. And then of course, Hogan was in the first 9 WrestleMania main events basically. So, you can still build other people. Sergeant Slaughter could use another redo. Warriors already got one. Who was 8? Oh, Hogan and Sid. Still waiting on Ultimate Sid. And then of course you have, Yoko's coming out. You've already got an elite version of that Hogan. So obviously, it wouldn't have been the longevity, but it would still be kind of cool to have some of these guys. But switch the arms from the, basically just took the whole, arms, legs off the elite carefully. Older figures to be careful with, so definitely heat that water up. But if you're like me and you're insane and you want to build your entire, figure line into one, kind of ultimate style, so to speak, or you want to build as many guys you can into ultimate style, because ultimate's nice. I mean, except for the drop down hips, ultimate is nice. I love the butterfly joints. It allows for more articulation. I could have went with double jointed arms, I just kind of kept his other arms on there. I could have also probably done something, found something better, and I may do that in the future. I'm not too worried about. King Kong Bundy wasn't exactly the most agile guy, but this thing, I mean, again, no glue required, no or scalpels or X-Acto knives, none of that stuff. It was basically get the singlet on there, get the Andre stripped off there, get the parts, obviously. If you don't have all the King Kong Bundy parts, I didn't actually use King Kong Bundy legs. His legs, as you know, the staining from the singlet inside the package caused them to be very stained. And despite my best efforts with acetone remover, it didn't come off. So I used a extra Earthquake figure I had, the original Earthquake figure from the Then Now Forever line before we got him in the done version. So I switched them. Of course, I heated the boots, took the red boots off, which, if you notice, the TNF ones, they actually have the shorter, fatter boots that lower the height a little bit. That's what the new Best of wave, their taller boot kicks. In fact, when I built Typhoon and Earthquake, or when I was taking them apart, I realized that, yeah, that's what it was, that their boots are not these shorter, stubbier ones. So I might switch it on the Earthquake. I'm trying to get pictures to see if Typhoon was taller than Earthquake, if they're the same height. But that's for a different time. So I will probably put him in like a fig pick fed against Hogan. Obviously, I don't have a steel cage anymore. Those accessories are very expensive to come by, hard to find in good working order. I kicked myself for getting rid of my chamber and my Hell in the Cell, but life was hard. Going homeless, you had to make do, and at the time, I needed money more than I needed to have a Hell in the Cell playset. So things are good now, so I'm hoping to find a Hell in the Cell in the future, but I need a house before I do that. I need to get out of my condo and get a house. So this year, I'm going to convert all the people I can into Ultimates that are possible. And then I'm pretty much going to hiatus. I'm not going to stop buying, but I'm only going to buy guys I feel I can either modify, maybe once in a while buy a custom here and there. My brain's always twirling trying to figure out who else I can convert. I know that there's tons of guys still lining up, but they are running out. The options are running out, and I'm going to be relying on other great customizers. Again, I'm not the greatest customizer. I'm just a guy who can put it together some people, figure it out, and basically, what's the formula? So if you want King Kong Bundy, I've gone on a rant long enough. If you want King Kong Bundy in ultimate form, Andre the Giant torso, Earthquake legs, Typhoon legs, or even King Kong Bundy legs without the staining, I'd go with Earthquake. Typhoon, or pretty much anybody with right wrist tape and a little bit of bulky arms. You could even probably do that Lex Luger, but he's too tan. So white, a little wrist tape or whatever it is. The singlet, of course, from King Kong Bundy or equivalent. Equivalent would be like maybe you could get the Jack Pacific King Kong Bundy or the Andre the Giant. Giant Machine had this one. It might be a little bulkier, I'm not sure. This is from the official King Kong Bundy release, so it's kind of tailored for him. But of course, if you want the staining, you gotta switch the legs out. Oh, and then of course, swap the boots if you want his black boots. If you don't have King Kong Bundy, look for a bigger guy with the shorter kick pads, bigger boots to put on there. Knee pads, of course, came with King Kong Bundy, so you might be able to find like some loose body parts. I know some of these have broken in the past, but again, they're pretty spendy. But the funny thing is, he's not the most expensive figure. Wait till you see my conversion in the future of probably what is my most expensive figure. Till next time, stay safe.